I am a global business, sales, marketing, advertising, and communication person. The emphasis on person. The range of my experience is automotive, fast-moving consumer goods, foods, toiletries, tobacco, soft drinks, and many others. I have been in business for 44 years. 37 of them are in marketing. 25 of them are in advertising. I worked at BBDO in New York, Chicago, and Egypt. I also worked at Leo Burnett in Chicago, London, Paris, and Egypt. Specifically, I have co-established and managed the first international advertising agency in Egypt in 1979, Impact BBDO. I co-established and managed the second international advertising agency in Egypt in 1981, AMA Leo Burnett. I also co-established and managed the fourth international advertising agency in Egypt in 1993, FCB, Food Conan Building. I owned Lotus Advertising in Egypt from 1985 to 1994, handling accounts like Marlboro, Xerox, Beiersdorf, Lancôme, Guy Laroche, Cacharel, Beecham, and many others. I have had 3 key posts in Egypt, in business management, marketing, and advertising. The first is the Executive Vice President and Managing Director of IETCO. This is the Marlboro Distribution Company, a Philip Morris affiliate in Egypt from 1986 to 1993. Second, the Marketing Manager of General Motors Egypt. This is the largest automotive company in the world and in Egypt from 1993 to 2002. Third, Group Vice President and Group Marketing Director at Arma Group of Companies, operating in the field of vegetable oils and ghee, soap, and detergents from 2002 till 2014, working on regional brands like Crystal Oil, Crystal Ghee, El Hanem, Oxy Powder, washing detergent, Oxy Gel, and Oxy Dishwash Liquid. I joined Arma at 2002 with net sales of 450 million Egyptian pounds. Arma Group of Companies sales in 2014, the year I retired, exceeded 3.4 billion Egyptian pounds. I retired on April 24th, 2014. Currently, I'm a professor at the American University in Cairo, teaching, of course, history of advertising in the Arab world. I want this documentary not only to represent my CV per se, but also the history and the development of the industry of advertising so you can place me in the right place. Let me talk about the 80s. In 1979, BBDO merged with Impact and made Impact BBDO. 1981, Leo Burnett merged with AMA H&C and we made AMA Leo Burnett. In 1994, FCB merged with Connection. In 1994, McCann merged with Fortune Promo 7 to serve General Motors and Coca-Cola. In 1995, DDB merged with Americana Advertising, Tariq Noor, to serve McDonald's. I would like to share with you certain detailed aspects of the mergers, since I was instrumental in making 3 mergers myself. Before I talk about the merger, allow me to share with you how did it all begin. Once upon a time, when I was young, very young, I was infatuated by the world of advertising. In 1978, I started working for an advertising agency called BBDO, which stands, by the way, for Batten, Barton, Durstein, and Osborne. BBDO was originally established in 1928. This agency was one of the biggies at the time. BBDO was the 4th largest agency in the world, with billings in billions and profits in hundreds of millions, and offices all over the world. This is my office, BBDO Advertising Chicago. It's in the Wrigley Building, 400 North Michigan Avenue. Prior to 78, my academic background was a master's degree in English language majored in American musical drama from Northeastern Illinois University in Chicago. And my professional training was 6 years in banking and finance. I was assistant VP and branch coordinator since 1976. So why should anyone hire me for an advertising post? The only thing that were going for me were my relentless passion to get the job, my success record in my previous jobs, and my love for the world of advertising. This is the man who hired me, John R. Thompson. John Thompson needed the approval of this man, Mr. Willie Schalk, the president of BBDO International. So one afternoon, I took United Airlines and flew from Chicago to New York to meet the man who will decide my future. I flew from Chicago, the city where I grew up. This is where I had my first job, first car, first barbecue, first midnight movie, first green card, first woman, first citizenship by choice, first everything. So that evening, he invited me to his penthouse apartment on top of one of those buildings. So you can imagine the view from the 67th floor overlooking the city lights. Absolutely awesome. And to my total happiness and delight, Mr. Willie Schalk said yes. And voila, I became an advertising executive. My title was Account Executive on Pepsi Cola. 6 months later, and after extensive travels between New York, Chicago, Team Düsseldorf in Germany, Beirut, and Cairo, the merger was completed with Impact Advertising, and it came to be Impact BBDO. Impact was founded by Alain Khoury in 1976. In January 79, I traveled to Egypt for my 2 years term to run the new operation. A year later, Impact BBDO was rated as one of the top advertising agencies in the Middle East, with key international clients like Pepsi Cola, R.J. Reynolds Tobacco, Kirby Building Systems, DuPont, among others. On Saturday, April 19, 1980, we hosted a big party. It was only becoming to have Mr. Willie Schalk, the big boss, be the inviting host. He made this excellent presentation in Cairo called Telling Isn't Selling. I was young and full of hopes and determination to make BBDO in Cairo like the BBDO I knew and lived in Chicago. A star is born. A merger was established. These brands were my responsibility at BBDO Cairo. Now it's December 22nd, 1980. So what about Leo Burnett Advertising, which was established in Cairo in 1981? What did this has to do with me? Well, I did this one too. This is Leo. This is Robert L. Baracci, the president of Leo Burnett International. I met Bob Baracci on December 22nd, 1980, and he asked me to join Leo Burnett. And over lunch in a Chicago restaurant overlooking Lake Michigan, he handed me a pen and a small yellow notepad and said to me, "Let's make history." And within 2 months, I hired all the necessary staff and made Leo Burnett Cairo. A year later, I was transferred to Leo Burnett London for 2 years. My first assignment in the United Kingdom was Marlborough. I lived the cowboy and the horses day in and day out. Once upon a time, I went on one of those shoots with Darrell Winfield. Awesome experience. My second assignment was 7-Up. Play to win, you will never lose if 7-Up is the one you choose. Around the end of these 2 years, I was offered an additional post at Leo Burnett Paris. This is Gare Saint-Lazare, the Paris train station, at the day of the launch of 7-Up in France. And on January 1st, 1984, I was transferred to Leo Burnett USA, back again to America. I became part of something big. I became a part of Leo Burnett USA. For a full year, I worked at Leo Burnett, assigned to Procter & Gamble with emphasis on beauty care division. Then, I returned to Egypt. Lotus Advertising was established in 1985, and it remained in existence till 1993. It's now 1993. Out of sheer luck, I was approached by General Motors Egypt for a pitch. Out of the discussion, I was offered the marketing manager's post. From 1993 till 2002, I worked for almost 10 years at GM, and it was happy times. We launched the Opel Vectra car, first passenger car after the Nasr Fiat of the 60s. And we relaunched Chevrolet, and the Baba became king, and the Jumbo was also launched. General Motors and Mansour made history in communication with continuous awards in advertising. And the word
الشيفروليه الدبابة العزم شديد والقوة حديد
was created, solid as steel with power you can feel. This is the picture in Miami, Florida, where the team got together to discuss Chevrolet. From 2002 to 2014, I worked almost 12 years at Arma Industries. I started as a marketing manager, promoted to marketing director in 2007, then promoted to vice president in 2010. Cristal Oil is our market leader. Cristal Corn, Cristal Sun, Hala, Asil, and Cristal Ghee. Hanem. In 2005, when we first launched Oxy, we were selling 1,000 pounds a month. In 2013, we were selling 100 million pounds a month. On April 24, 2014, I retired. On April 25th, 2014, I was going nuts. I felt something is missing. On January 1st, 2016, I developed my new career objectives. I wish to be a consultant. This means I will be a provider of input on any issue that has to do with general business management, marketing, advertising, promotion, merchandising, or media planning and buying. Experience never gets old. I'm happy working. So the question is, will there ever be a company or an organization today here in Egypt that would run an employment ad saying, we are looking for a consultant, an administrative assistant, a personal helper that can work many hours a week, but must be over 65 years old and have a passion for general business management, marketing, advertising, and media? I doubt it. Not a chance. Since this is a remote possibility and they will never approach me, why don't I approach them? And I will tell them, I can be of value to you.
So, let me tell you, how did I get my last job? In which I started as a marketing manager and I left as a vice president. I walked in one day and I said, good morning, I'm looking for a job. So I'm talking to you today saying the same magical statement.
My name is Muhammad Khalil and I'm looking for a job as a consultant, a senior consultant.
Then I'm open for an interview in which you can ask me anything.